Alright, we are live. Let me repeat that. We are live. That off. Cool. So I was in the process of coloring in this drawing, and I was experimenting a bit. Right before I began the stream, I looked up a few short videos on not only how coloring works and Krita, but also layers, or well, rather clipping groups and mask layers, and different types of modes, I guess, on inputting color. Excuse me. Anyways, let's go ahead and get to it. Let's do Forest mask. Let's see what this. Oh. That's not exactly what I wanted. Just get rid of that. I could have sworn there was oh, okay. There was a way to quickly group this stuff. Chat. Hey. Not here. Oh, it's up here. Okay, that's why. Group is Control G. Try that. Yeah, Control G. There we go. Cool. So I got some ideas for this, or rather, I learned some things. Generally speaking, I was right about not using purely neutral colors, or using the neutral colors as pure as they are, unless it's for very specific situations. Otherwise, it's just better to use shades and tints of hues. Get similar effects, or I guess similar colors as the neutral colors, like white and black. Anyways. And let's see. I'm gonna have to make. So hit insert. What do you? Color. Input value. I have to put the contours on though. I guess what I could do is make this layer visible and then just use the color picker, or eyedrop tool I should say, and make my palette based off of this. Just some ideas. Excuse me. Also, let's put that below this. Anyways, let's get started. Actually, let me do that. Put this, that. Yeah. There we go. That way I can still see. Well, hold on. No, I can. Yeah. That way I can still see this, all that. The thing is, though, I would still need the reference image to know where the shadows are, and such. What do you think? I guess what I could do is just move the reference image to the side and compare the two. So, oh, I guess let's just do that. Well, let's just see what happens. Let's see, in there. Oh, click on that. Go to the left or the right. Well, that's not going to work. Because if it's off the canvas, then I can't see it. So the only real way to view it at all is if there's no color whatsoever. Or if the canvas is made big enough to fit both images. But then there's the problem of having to crop the canvas afterwards. So let me turn the opacity back on, or rather increase it. This image, do that. Place it back, position. Okay. I see, okay. I see what's going on. Let's do this. Try this. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. So if I've got the opacity set up above 0% for the reference image, then if I use the eyedropper tool, it's only going to pick the color of that's in the reference image, not the color layer that I have. So this means I would essentially have to make my own palette. It's not a big deal, I can do that. Oh, whoops. Sorry, for some reason, I've noticed that the only times I cough now are when I'm in my room. I don't understand what's going on inside my room to make me cough like this still. Every time I go outside, I never cough like that. Or at all, for that matter. So I gotta look around, see what's causing me to essentially make it hard to breathe in here. I've gotten rid of most of the dust that's in it. Cleaned it out, cleaned the carpet, washed the bed sheets, cleaned my PC out. The only thing I haven't done is wipe off my monitors, but I mean, there's not really much else, so I don't know. Ooh, whoops. I've been doing it on the contour. That's alright. Let me do it on. Oops. They're the exact same colors. Weird. Almost done. Just got one. Well, actually, no, that's not true. I got one after this. There we go. That should be it. On my color palette there. Okay, now I can look at the reference image. Actually, this should go above. I think. No, because then I can't darken or lighten anything there. Okay, never mind. We'll start with the simplest one. Or I should say simplest ones. There we go. The reds. And then the blues. No, okay. Red versus blue joke. I guess we'll do the light shadows. I mean, light grays, or you know what I mean. Let's see, it was multiply and screen. That's right. Let's put the image, reference image back up. Go. So up here is a light, or highlight, I should say. So let's see if this works. It is not. Let me get rid of this. Basic. Weird. I have to essentially press really hard. Let me see if it happens if I switch the two around. Nothing happens. Okay. Well, except that. Let's see how this works. Oh, whoops. I think it's gotta be within its own. Well, no, never mind. Oh, that's not how it works. Is that how it works? Yeah, it's getting brighter as I keep doing that. Okay. That's the case then. What happens if I do this? Let's use a paint bucket. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's essentially a way to just do it like that. Oh, I mean, that's an easier way of doing it, but it doesn't necessarily make it look better. Let's do it like twice. Well, that's the thing though, it's not completely colored in, so that's not going to work anyways. Oops. I don't mean to do that. There we go. Let's go ahead and color in the rest of this. Let's go back to normal. Hey, I'm learning something. This time, at least. That's weird. Why is it doing that? Oops, not that. Oh, that's why. Okay. That's the problem with using the fill tool. Pretty much any lines that are on a previous layer that you don't want to keep. What was I saying? Ah, I knew it. That's not the same red. But basically, you're saying why that could be a problem if you just use only the fill tool. Color stuff in. Oops. I just realized something. If I wanted to, say, lighten or darken certain areas, all I would have to do is just make the brush size bigger. I could cover a lot more space. But that would also mean having to isolate certain areas of the drawing into different layers so that I don't end up coloring over other stuff. So I'll have to remember to do that in the future. That's what I see a lot of other artists do. They just make a lot of different layers and a lot of groups of layers. And just like with coding, it's mostly for the sake of keeping everything neat and organized, so that it doesn't become a problem to address a certain issue in an area. As you can plainly tell, I'm not a very organized person. I really need to do a much better job of that. But yeah, with what I do during my spare time and life in general. If you saw what my room looks like, it's I'm surprised I can actually walk into and out of it, to be honest, now that I'm looking at it. It's a clutter of appliances, objects, and tools lying around. I normally don't stay in one apartment long enough to bother being neat, make it worth it. So that's my excuse. What's yours? Let's see. Yeah, I got a lot more to do. So it wasn't a complete waste of time to do this coloring layer last stream. It's just, again, unfortunate that I did not do this during the last stream as well. This covering up the patches of missing color. But that's okay. There's no rush to get this done, no deadline. Not like back in the studio art program, where you gotta rush to get stuff turned in on time. Nah. Those days are getting older and older. Long gone. And yet they still haunt me to this very day. But that's a story for another time. Come to think of it, I wonder if people still do those Draw My Life videos. That was a trend back in, what, 2016, 2017? Makes me wonder if I'll do one in the future. Depends if I could become, successful and famous. Because otherwise it'd be pretty awkward to make an autobiography about myself if no one's gonna bother to care to know who I am or was. Unless I'm just so narcissistic that I think such a thing would have to exist. I'd like to think I'm not, though. Oh. I'm checking my mic's audio on OBS and it doesn't seem to be picking up the scribbling, rubbing sound of my tablet pen rubbing against the tablet itself. So, that's good. Come on, man. You might be wondering to yourself, why don't I just use the fill tool to patch up these white spaces? And the answer to that is, the fill tool will just make the color run over the inked lines. Thus, it would just make a bigger mess than it's already created, or that already exists. So, maybe me, if I could just do that and save a lot of time, I would. Should be everything for the white. I mean, it's for the red.
Un poquito de benzina para tu lindo coche. Juanito el mecano estaba apretando el turbo para que quieras el mejor. Para que quieras el mejor. Un poquito de benzina para tu lindo coche. Juanito el mecano estaba apretando el turbo para que quieras el mejor. Para que quieras el mejor. Ole, 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 ole. Cuando rueda del sol. Ole, 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 ole. O cuando rueda del sol. Un poquito de benzina para tu lindo coche. Juanito el mecano estaba apretando el turbo para que quieras el mejor. El mejor. Un poquito de benzina para tu lindo coche. Juanito el mecano estaba apretando el turbo para que quieras el mejor. El mejor. Ole, 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 ole. Cuando rueda del sol. Ole, 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 ole. O cuando rueda del sol. Ole, 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 ole. Cuando rueda del sol. Ole, 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 ole. O cuando rueda del sol.
honestly cannot. Honestly cannot see the white patches in this. Yeah, straight up cannot see that at all. Well, actually, never mind. I see it now. This is background color, that's it. if I add that, it should allow me to color them in. Also, what is going on here? Oops, not that. I think that may be just the lines. Hold on. It is. Weird. Actually, what could have happened is... check. Yeah, so what I must have did is... I think I remember, if I remember correctly, I did not bother to change the opacity of the sketch, or the contour, or the brush I normally used for sketching and for doing the contour of the drawing. I normally set the opacity to what, like 25% or 50%, something like that, which is why it's gray, even though the color is actually black. And I didn't finish it while I was at the opacity, so when I went back and went ahead and did the rest, I didn't bother changing the opacity because I didn't think that was going to matter. And it technically doesn't, but nevertheless though, it just looks off now when I go back and yeah, look at all this. Okay. Anyways, let me go ahead and put this back on screen. That's the thing though, it's not going to be even if I do it like that. Oh, whoops. Forgot this has to be below it. Right? No. Not right either. How does this work again? Should be above it, right? Screen. And then just do that. Yeah. I have to press hard or something? No. If I do it on top, it does it like that. It's so weird. Oh, right, I forgot. I'm supposed to change the color to be the tint of it. So something like this. And then do that. Yeah, like this. Shouldn't be that drastic though. Something like that. Let's see what happens if I just use the fill tool anyways. Okay. If I just turn that off. So what seems to be happening is all it's doing is just increasing the tint or shade of any color that it shares a hue with when it overlaps. That's it. That's all it's doing. While it's not necessarily a bad thing, it can run into issues like that. So let's undo all this. Oops. No, that's right. That's fine, actually. So, as a demonstration, do that. Let's do that. And that. That. This. That. 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 It's kind of hard to see. Maybe if I do it like this. Let's see. And again, it's not a bad thing, but watch what happens when I do it over again, but if I just draw the line past this endpoint, it just goes back to its original hue. So all it's really doing, and I'm assuming this also applies to the multiply mode, all it's doing is just automatically jumping up or down on the color wheel. That's it. So in the end, I would still have to somehow color in, or not color in, but blend these colors together. The thing is, though, I just don't know why it's still so sharp. For example, if I do, actually, I don't know, I do this, do that. Oops, not that. This. See, it's still sharp, as in it's not blending at all. Let's see what happens if I use an actual blending brush. Okay, let's check out color smudge. Use a basic one. I mean, that's not bad, but I would have to do it over a wide area in order to make use of this. Like I would with oil paint or oil pastels, essentially. And whatever color there's more of, or you know, whatever color takes up the most amount of space ends up winning. Something like that. But no, and this is what I warned about. This is what I didn't want, is for this to look all smeared. It might just be because I'm not doing enough. Still, it just looks weird. Looks wrong. So we can get rid of all that. Okay, apparently not. Oh, whoops. What? What's going on? Oh, I see. Hold on. Not that. Where is it? There we go. Anyways, that's not the effect that I want. Man, it's so annoying though, because I could just leave it like this and it looks fine, but I still want to add value through colors, but it's just not possible because of some reason I can't figure out. It's either the canvas resolution being too low or something I'm just not doing right. But regardless though, let's just go ahead and do this. So now that I know that's how that works, I'm just gonna go ahead and do this. And let me do the shadows real quick. Or end the stream. Alright, that should be enough. Let's take a look at him. I mean, it's not bad, but at the same time, though, it looks spotty, if that makes sense. I mean, when it comes to contour, it makes sense because that's, you know, the point of sectioning off these different values. But in order to make it look smooth and round and 3D, can't be having all that. This is just something I've always struggled in figure drawing, figure painting courses. So I'll do a little more research into this and see if I can. Excuse me. See if I can figure it out then. But anyways, it's gonna have to be it for this stream. Just trying to learn as I go, because doing the same thing over and over again doesn't really do anything else but give me the same result. Gotta try something different. I mean, it's there. Like, the color theory is there anyways. It looks better than the first few Knuckles drawings in the Knuckles series. But again, trying to get that smooth transition between colors is difficult. I can't figure out why. Again, it could just be that I just need to simply blend the colors together using some sort of blending tool, but other than that, I mean, screen and multiply aren't bad tools, it's just that I'm just not sure how to use those modes, whoops, of applying hues, applying colors, so anyways. But yeah, this would have to be it. Would we change the track so I can end this stream on a good note? Close enough. Anyways, that is it for this stream. I mean, I still haven't done anything with my social media. Not really my fault this time today, just because, or I should say yesterday, because now it's after midnight. My employers had called me to work some extra hours today, or sorry, yesterday, even though yesterday was my day off, because the store I work at was short-staffed, like literally an hour or two, and then a bunch of more people showed up, so in the end, I couldn't do anything else I had planned out to do today. So, I'm not gonna apologize for that, because more or less it's not my fault, but I definitely will need to get that done eventually. Question is, how soon? I don't know. I mean, technically speaking, I should have already been in bed earlier tonight, but I just said screw it, because more or less I don't really care about how the day progresses now. So, but I'm definitely gonna regret it tomorrow during work, or rather, during my next shift, I should say. Anyways, But yes, we'll eventually get to it. And yeah, I mean, there's not really much else to say besides that, so I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream now. Peace.